Welcome to Trainspotting, which to my surprise has nothing to do with spotting trains. Turns out it's about heroin. Here I am, thinking I'm gonna get my locomotive fix on, but no, I got this. That's alright though, heroin's good too. Movie starts out giving an introduction of the main dipshits of this movie. We got Spud, he's a heroin junkie. We got Sick Boy, heroin junkie. Renton, heroin junkie. Main character, so main heroin junkie. Mr. Mustache Guy, who's not a heroin junkie, but smokes drinks and is a big ass fucking dickhead with major anger management issues. And then we got Tommy, who's a big fat vagina that does nothing wrong, doesn't do drugs, very goody two shoes. Then we continue with Rent giving some narration of a very doomer speech while he injects some of Satan's vinegar into his veins. We get a look at the crack house he's shooting up in, which has a fucking baby in it. What a fantastic start to life you got, kiddo. Rent suddenly gets up like, the decision has been made. I'm gonna quit. You see the Scottish so much. This is my Scottish accent. You're gonna hear a lot. Fucking suck it up. So he tells that to this dude, Mother Superior, who's their main smack dealer and owns this joint, I think. I forget, is smack heroin or cocaine? It's all drugs, doesn't matter. The point is to get you fucked up. Who cares? So he boards himself up in his own house and brings along a bunch of shit that's supposed to help him weather the shitstorm that is getting off heroin addiction. But then he swiftly decides that he needs one more hat to help him ease into the process while the Valium he took kicks in. So he breaks down the door and goes to his fucking receding hairline man, who gives him some opium pills, which is not what he wanted. He wanted heroin, but it'll have to do it. So he shoves it up his ass. Why? My guy, my beloved retard. Why would you shove him up your ass? You're not going through airport security. Just put him in your pocket, whatever. While walking home, he gets a sudden urge to take a massive shit, which is a side effect I did not know it had until somebody told me in the comments on my Pulp Fiction video. Heroin makes you shit a lot, the more you know. So he stops by a pub and enters the worst toilet in Scotland. But we've all been there, and desperate times call for desperate measures. So he puts his pants down and takes the fucking best shit of his life, but forgets about the opium pills he had shoved up his ass. Fucking dumb move, I told you, dude. So he goes fishing for them in the toilet, then goes diving into said toilet, okay, gets them out, and goes back home to begin the cleansing. Wait, why is he wet from top to bottom? I'm pretty sure that whole toilet diving scene was a hallucination. He just rummaged through his shit and got the pills out. So is he imagining that he's still wet, or is he actually wet? You know, it doesn't matter. Because we cut to a time where he is clean, and Sick Boy is clean too. He did it at the same time he did just to spite him, piss him off, and show him how easy it is. They're hanging out in the park. Dick Boy gives him a depresso life theory, and Rent shoots a dog in the ass with a BB gun. What? How is no one seeing this? They're in broad daylight. I get it. They're at the edge of the field probably, but it's still pretty visible, right? I mean, at one point, Dick Boy had the BB gun held up like a fucking flagpole. What? Is this normal in Scotland? Cut to Rent giving Spud some advice on how to fuck up a job interview because he's trying to stay unemployed, but at the same time stay on the good side of the NHSS, DHSS, SS Intimidator. Listen, man, it doesn't fucking matter, okay? Don't worry about it. So he gives him shitty advice and some speed, and he fucks it up like a pro. Cut to the gang hanging out while Mr. Mustache tells a story about beating up a dude who messed up his pool game, which Tommy later says is a fucked up, stupid story. Lies. Okay, truth is, Tommy was there. He's trying to lose on purpose to make Mr. Mustache Man look good, but Mr. Mustache Man was fucking drunk off his ass, couldn't hit a shot to save his own life, and he fucked up, then beat up this random dude who did nothing wrong and almost stabbed Tommy. And Tommy tells this to Rent when he's at his home, and Rent switches out a sex tape Tommy and his girlfriend did with another tape and asks him to borrow it, and he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, man. Then we cut back to when they were hanging out in the pub. Mustache Guy throws a fucking mug over his head and lands on a girl's head, opens it up, and he goes down there and fights some dudes because he's a dumbass. Rent and Sick Boy watch the sex video that Tommy made, and Rent makes a glorious discovery. He wants to get his dick wet, okay? Because he's no longer impotent from all the heroin he was doing. Another side effect I did not know it had. The more you know. So the gang go out, Tommy and Scub talking about their females talking about their dipshits, and Rent sets his sights on Doomer Girl, who shuts down this beta male by drinking his offerings. Leaves. He follows her out like, excuse me, wee lassie, I was very impressed with how you swallowed a couple ounces of alcohol in less than 15 seconds. A really impressive feat only achieved by about 80% of the human population. However, she shuts him down, but not really because she invites him back to her home. Meanwhile, Spud and Tommy also about to go swimming in that puss, baby. Except Tommy's girlfriend really wants to do it while watching their own sex tape, and obviously Tommy can't find it because he's dipshit and gave it away to Rent. He rented it to Rent. Comic genius. And Spud is too drunk to do shit. However, Rent gets the job done, then gets kicked out the room and sleep on the couch. Wow, Tommy really has the world's shittiest memory and the world's smallest brain, an insect brain. He knows that Rent took the 100 goals tape, but when he puts his sex tape in, he sees the 100 goals tape. How do you not put 2 and 2 together, you fucking knobhead? Anyway, next morning, Spud wakes up in a pile of his own shit, then throws the shit at his girlfriend's parents. Tommy practically breaks up with his girl, and Rent finds out that Doomer Girl actually is underage schoolgirl, and she threatens to out him if he leaves her. Then Tommy takes Spud, Rent, and Sick Boy out for a walk in the great outdoors. And that's his second time in a row I used that clip, but I don't care, you can lick my balls. Rent gives a speech about how it's shite being Scottish and how the English are wankers, and they all leave Rent, Scub, and Stick Boy all decide democratically to get back onto heroin. And Tommy joins in because he's depressed or espresso over his girlfriend breaking up with him because of that sex tape. Next up, they steal shit and sell it to pay for the next hat, steal from their parents, straight up mug people, rob old people and the NHS of drugs to do them illegally, Pilodimedrol, Tingaflamarine, Trempipitidine, Sparkarapoline, Singapore bentanol. No, I have no idea what I'm saying. Yes, I made those drugs up, but you get it. They stole a bunch of drugs, did them all, or shot them up or something. They're druggies, okay? Then this bitch comes in screaming because the baby that turns out to be Sick Boy's, and for some reason still lives in this shithole, has died. Little shit turned to a fucking demon tumor or something. Damn, what the fuck happened? Do you neglect it for 6 months or you shoot up with heroin too? Jeez. And to deal with this, the wisest choice that they could make was to shoot up some more heroin, like fucking retards. Then Sick Boy, Scub, and Rent go rob a place, get chased by security. Sick Boy gets away somehow. I don't know how the guards didn't see him do this Pink Panther Looney Tunes sidestep escape, but whatever. Rent bumps into a car and gets caught along with Spud. Judge sentences Scub to 6 months in pry zone, while Rent gets off scot-free on the condition that he goes back to rehab, which he was apparently in before he was doing all this stuff. But while they're out celebrating the fact that he didn't go to jail, Mustache Man is an asshole to Scub's mom, and Rent escapes to go do some more heroin and overdoses. Good job, you dumbass piece of succubus. Heroin dude sends him off to the hospital. He survives, goes back home. His parents lock him inside his room to snip the turd that is his heroin addiction straight off refrigerated turkey, baby. No lettuce, hold the mayo. What the fuck am I saying? So he starts going crazy because no last hit or nothing. Starts seeing shit like his rageaholic friend, Dead Spider Owl baby, Heroin Tommy, Jail Spud, underage doomer girl. Basically a bunch of shit that is either utterly depressing or completely his fault, or at least partly his fault, which most of these are. Then hey, Rent's clean again. He goes to visit Heroin Tommy in the crap house he lives in. It's like shithole 2.0 basically, and practices some more casual pedophilia and decides to go to London to become a normal dude, live his life and do stuff. He becomes a real estate agent. Is that what he is? He becomes a guy that sells and rents apartments or flats because they're in England, you know? Whatever happened to condos? Why did everybody stop using that word? It's basically an apartment. Such a fun word too. It's like one letter away from condom. Anyway, where was I? Right, Rent gets a letter from Doomer Girl saying that Mustache Guy is wanted for armed robbery among some other shit, and then Mustache Guy shows up and proceeds to hide out in his place and make his life a living hell, miserable as fuck. And he tells him to go bet on a horse since he can't go outside because he's a wanted criminal. The horse wins and they go out to celebrate their winnings. Alright, you royal twat. You can't go out to put the bet on the horse, but you can go out to party. Alright, you fucking twat. Okay. Mustache Guy almost leads to the dude, then threatens to cut Rent's balls off after a cheeky joke by Rent here, this jolly lad. Then Sick Boy shows up because he's been doing some stupid shit too, sells his TV for some fish and chips, so he tries to get rid of them both, and in the process I think they get him fired. Then fucking Tommy dies, and they go back to Scotland for the funeral, and this random fucker tells Rent that he died of toxoplasmosis, mate, or something, because he got a cat for his ex and tried to give it to her, but she told him to fuck off, so he kept it, neglected it, and shit and pissing everywhere, and it gave him brain AIDS or some shit like that. Then he got a stroke and died. Fucking depression. Then right after the funeral, back in the old heroin joint, these three retards tell Rent that they need his money for a fucking skag deal, because they want to buy 2 kilos of heroin from Captain Receding Helen over here on the cheap and sell it for a profit. Not only that, they have to test the heroin they're gonna sell before they sell it to see if it's any good, and he has to test it because none of these idiots are good enough and they all have excuses. Listen, home dog, you need new friends, okay? I mean, shit. Sick Boy's excuse is,
and Sick Boy was too careful these days.
What a fucking selfish prick! And what a fucking stupid idiot Rent is for not being careful enough or using that same lame weak ass excuse. I mean, what's stopping him? Seriously, what's stopping him from saying, oh, I'm being careful too? What the? Okay, it doesn't matter. They make their way to London for the deal. Mr. Mustache shitting himself because he still wanted. Now he's making the skag deal with blonde jackass, smackhead, and retardio. Oh yeah, Rent's shooting it up in the bus again, back on the big H, because fucking duh. Despite each and every single one of them being a walking time bomb, they make it to the hotel where the deal is supposed to be made. They do the deal, get 16k, go to pub to celebrate. Dick Boy goes to the loo, and Mr. Mustache goes to get some drinks. And at that moment, Rent contemplates taking the money and running away with Spud. But before he can act on it, Dick Boy comes back from the bathroom, and this fucking nincompoop starts a fight over a small inconvenience, cuts Spud, and alphas Rent. Bro, have you any concept of the idea of laying low? Are you stupid? Anyway, they go to bed that night, and next morning, while everybody is asleep, Rent wakes up and takes the money and makes his way out. And Spud sees him and half-assedly tries to stop him and shaking his head and whatever, but Rent fucks off just the same. Mustache boy wakes up, flips shit, destroys the room. Cops come take him away. Fucking finally. And Spud finds a couple grand rent left for him in a safe box because Spud's just a poor helpless retard and he didn't really hurt anybody. Except I don't know how Rent and Spud coordinated this. Maybe he left him a note. Who cares? Whatever. Rent walks away with the money. That's it. This movie gets 18 Renatons out of 6 Benetons.